But there's one final question I'd like to ask the panelists who are living with HIV. There is a philosophy which a Catholic priest, Henry Nouwen, in his readings I came across, talks about the wounded healer. That out of the pain comes a unique opportunity to heal others. In many ways, God has given you this amazing opportunity, but at an amazing price as well. So I'd just like to ask, if you had the chance, if somebody had said, I could have taken this away from you and you would never have had to drink from this cup, but you would not have lived the life you've gone on to as wounded healers, would you have taken that, JP?
HIV has been God's blessing in my life. There's no question about it. Through HIV, I was forced to face the demons that I had grown up with in my Christian faith. Very frequently, the church uses guilt as the currency to control people. And God uses love as the currency to liberate us. So when I had to face the demons of guilt that I had grown up with, it was HIV that helped me understand that God loved me for who I was, which allowed me to be most fully who I am. So God has used HIV in my life as a catalyst for healing, personal healing, and personal growth. And I believe that God can use HIV as that catalyst to heal our faith communities as well. I would drink the cup.
Faghmeda, I know I asked you this question before. What's your answer?
I think first of all, like I will come back to that and say again, God loves all of us, number one. And for me, being HIV positive really changed my life. I have more empathy for other people. I can more empathize with other people, what they are going through. Before HIV, my life was, I would say, really, I did not care about others. Now I am aware that other people go through worse things than myself. I need to be there for other people. I need to support other people. And I will again say, God loves all of us. God is inside of us. So we need to love each and everyone as if you are God. Thank you.
Pablo, you're young, you have your life ahead of you. You're also living with HIV. Is it a blessing from God, a curse?
Well, first I have to say that this is the most intense talk that I've had in that way, because it has been very of asking myself, and since you asked me that question inside, it was just jumping in my head and in my heart. And definitely, no, I wouldn't change it. To see what I've seen, to meet the people that I've met, to be able to understand the needs of young people living with HIV from communities in Africa, communities in Latin America, communities in Asia, to be able to talk to you, to be able to understand myself, and through understanding myself, be able to support others, that's something that I wouldn't change. So.
Pablo, thank you. And finally, before we turn over to you for questions, Swamiji, again, if you could think back, would you pass and say, I want my life without it?
At the beginning, of course, when I was declared HIV positive, it was hell in my mind. Then slowly, because of experience, because of my research also. So in Hinduism, there are so many representations of God. And so some representations you can see cobras. These cobras are not turned towards the deity, but outside the deity. What the meaning of this? Cobras, they are highly dangerous, just like HIV, much more than HIV maybe. But in that case, it means that something which is bad, which can be transformed, can be transformed as something which can protect you. So that's why I was thinking, HIV, of course, we know what it means. But why not transform this HIV into some energy, into something positive? So I'm working on this. I don't know what will happen. You know, science took so many years to bring pills to us, etc. So I feel that HIV, I transform the word at least. HIV for me, it can be, I know it is a little foolish, but it can be human intelligent virus. That's why I feel that we can work on HIV at a spiritual level, and to work on HIV, the better thing is to have HIV, to be HIV positive, and work on it so that we can be at the service of humanity, to show that science is doing a good work, but maybe spiritually also there is some answer, not only in belief, not only in faith, but in a yogic way, what I am telling.
Thank you. So, wounded healers coming from faith to embrace what God has given to them and to become inspirational to the rest of us. Now it's your turn. Please, 2 microphones. If there are any questions about the work they do, the Swami, for example, specializing in yoga. I think you offer, is it free yoga classes?
One student this morning.
One student this morning. So please, queue up at the microphones and bring your questions to the august panel. And whilst people are queuing up, I might ask, let me see, Bishop Yvette, let me say that what is in your toolbox, your weaponry, when you go into battle against the forces of negativity in religion? What do you bring to bear to try and change their minds about dignity for the transgender, for example?
I don't spend a great deal of time trying to change people's minds. What I do is I seek to have real personal contact and relationships with people. Because I have found that as long as I am working on trying to proof text, trying to rearrange their thinking about the Bible, rearrange their thinking culturally about religion, it's usually a big waste of time for me and for them. But when I meet a person heart to heart, and I get close enough to them to look into their eyes and feel their breath, and maybe even hug them and feel their heartbeat, there's something that passes from spirit to spirit that reminds us both of our humanity and our personhood. And that will inform our tortured theologies and tortured cultural divisions and all of the hatreds and things that have been almost put in our DNA from generations back. We need to have interpersonal relationships. It's at that point that change really does exist.
Spirit passing to spirit.